Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know if you knew this or not, but football has started. The NFL had its first games this week.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't watch football.
I don't watch any sports as much as I used to. I think you were talking about this the other night, just you and I were talking about how my entire life was sports, like growing up. I played sports constantly, was really into sports, even when we first were married. And I couldn't tell you the last time I sat down and watched an entire game of any sport. So I watched like a few things like in the background, but apparently the Chiefs lost.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I was just like, okay. All right. I don't know.
It doesn't matter to me, but that's
yeah. Like I still do like fantasy stuff, like fantasy leagues to my brother because we've been doing it for like 10 years, but I don't know any of the players.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. When I drafted my team, I was using ChatGPT quite a bit because I actually figured out. So I used to subscribe to a thing that would help you. And I was like, I wonder. So I just started like plugging it into ChatGPT. It does pretty well.
All right.
I was like, okay.
Happy to hear that.
So if I win, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with my utilization of AI to build a football team.
Well, we haven't been watching football, but what did we start watching?
Well, we started watching Fallout.
Yeah.
Obviously because of Halloween Horror Nights.
Right.
And I mean, I played the games a little when I was younger. I never was like a huge Fallout player. I think I played Fallout 4, but we watched a little bit of it. What did you think of it so far?
So I'm actually intrigued. It caught me like at the very beginning. I was like, okay, this is interesting the way they're introducing this.
Because it's like a futuristic 1950s, which I
guess.
I love that style. Like when you take a retro, like an 80s or 60s or 50s or whatever, but it has these like future tech, like it's an alternate universe or something. I always really enjoy that type of like world building.
Yeah, I mean, like it's very really cool, and the characters are interesting. So I really liked it. I really liked the first episode. Now the episodes are like an hour and 15 minutes or something, and I'm like, I don't got an hour and 15 minutes just to spare here.
It's a lot easier when it's like 45 minutes or so.
Yes,
yeah,
I was like, I could do 45.
Which I'm surprised they didn't actually just cut them down and then make more episodes because there's like 8 episodes, but they're all kind of long there. But
yeah. But I mean, it seems nice. I mean, it's based off the video game, right? And then the house for Halloween Horror Nights is based off of the show.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. But so we've been watching that. Hopefully we'll get to continue watching that.
It's kind of more of a study of like post-apocalyptic, like human nature, like what would happen. And you kind of see people at their most like bare of like just survival. And you look at this stuff and you're like, yeah, that would probably happen in many ways. So yeah, I'm actually intrigued to watch it more. Which I know we're late to the party because that show's been out for like a year.
I know.
But yeah, check that out. So far, pretty good. But speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, we do have some Halloween Horror Night news and tidbits to talk about that we had our preview episode, and then some things came out after that we're going to talk about here. And then we're going to talk about a lot of Epic Universe stuff because Mark Woodbury had some very interesting comments that he went to a Bank of America, I guess you would call it an analyst or investor conference.
Okay.
Had a Q&A session and had some pretty interesting little tidbits that you can kind of look into, Epic and what's coming perhaps into the other parks as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we might also talk about as well some of the negative reviews out there about Epic. And is Epic Universe being review bombed?
Oh.
Because that's the question out there. But
okay.
But before we get to the news, just want to remind everybody, if you are watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't know we had video versions of the show, you can find it over at YouTube at CTM Podcast. Please ask you to just subscribe over there if you would like to see the video versions of the show. And if you are watching on good old trusty audio podcast form, we're on all the major platforms there. Just ask you to please subscribe there and leave us a review if you are able to do that. We would greatly appreciate that. It helps us continue to grow the show. And whether it's audio or video, you can find us on either of those methods of the show, I guess we could just say. But all right, let's get into the news here. So Halloween Horror Nights, I guess this just be add-on news from the last episode here. So there is actually a new scavenger hunt that is going on during Halloween Horror Nights this year.
Yeah, so this is called Feel the Fear Medallion Quest. And
I love a good quest.
Yeah. And so you can sign up to do it through the Universal Orlando Resort Backlot Club. And this is also something new. And they're twining this with Halloween Horror Nights, but also during the day, like during regular park hours. So it's not just for Halloween Horror Nights, but that's what we're mentioning today.
That's good because I don't really think you want to spend a lot of your Halloween Horror Nights time doing a scavenger hunt and also trying to do everything else.
I mean, unless you're one of those frequent fear passes.
Well,
maybe.
true. Yeah.
So the website reads this, says, you'll find yourself in the middle of mayhem as you seek out the coveted digital medallions. Find all medallions and you can take a piece of the horror home with you. Come out to play if you dare. So basically you can gain like prizes, rewards, points, basically as you go through Halloween Horror Nights. For Halloween Horror Nights specifically, you can win these cards that are kind of almost linked to the houses. They have like some kind of character from the house or something.
Like trading cards, kind of?
They look like it. Yeah.
Okay.
They do. And there are supposed to be different cards every week. And I don't know. I think it's up to 4 cards. That's what they're doing. And what it is this little tower that's set up. There's only one right now. That's right by the alley between Minions and Bake My Day.
Right, down there,
right
heading
there.
toward Transformers.
Yeah. So I think it's on that side of the street, I believe. And you just go to the tower and you can do all that stuff. But you can set it up ahead of time at the website, the Backlot Club, and get that set up before you even go. And yeah, you do this quest. You find I think it was like find a character from the house, and like if you're in the vicinity and like click it or whatever, it gives you the medallion, and you get you got the medallion. And get the prizes and the points and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly how it all works. Obviously, we haven't done it yet, but this is kind of cool. I mean, especially if you're a frequent guest of Halloween Horror Nights and you've done all the houses and you want something extra to do, maybe this will be something you want to do.
Yeah, I like the idea of adding more things to try and give people more stuff to do to try and help perhaps alleviate the wait times of the houses. Mm-hmm. I think this could be something they look at doing, as it gets more popular. Yeah. I don't anticipate they're going to pull back the amount of tickets they sell. But like if you talk about the Disney parties, they've gotten really good at kind of having so many things to do that it spreads people out a bit more. Mm-hmm. So perhaps that may be something they're trying out here is having, like you do have the zombie car hops. You've got the that DJ thing going on. They've got some extra stuff this year. Plus, you add in annual pass holders have to reserve the night they want to go. Mm-hmm. So that might be something they do in the future, which, it's a good idea. Now, I don't know how many people would do that. I think most people are going to go for the houses. I think the only way to really alleviate the lines for the houses is probably to add more houses.
I mean, if they're not going to decrease the amount of tickets, then yeah.
As long as you also don't increase the amount of tickets sold along with it, but that would, that's typically like what you're talking about theme parks. If you need more, if you have too many people coming into your park, either raise prices or you have more things to do.
Yep.
I hope they don't go raise the price route.
Well, that happens every year.
I have a feeling they may though, but but I will say the prices for Halloween Horror Nights are still, if you look at like after hours type parties, like it's still very reasonable, especially compared to Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think tickets started as low as like 79, 80, 84 or something like that this year. And I mean, still compared to Mickey's Not So Scary, that's much less.
Yes.
So
very true. Well, even the Fan Fest nights I did in Universal Hollywood, I can't remember the exact price, but it was much cheaper than I would have expected it to be for the event that it was, which is essentially almost the exact time frame of Halloween Horror Nights. Just they took that concept, just made it into a different thing. So I think they could also do this for other stuff too. But yeah. Well, along with more Halloween Horror Nights news, they actually have a new way this year. If you don't want to be scared or have people jump out at you during the event, they have a new way for you to be able to do this.
Yeah. So you can buy a Deathly Afraid necklace. It's $20 and it's available for anybody to purchase. And these basically indicate to the scare actors, I call them the scare actors, the team members that are scaring you, that you would like a less scary, intense experience. Like in the scare zones and general areas, like around the park, it doesn't apply to haunted houses. It will not work there. But everywhere else, they're supposed to like just kind of back off a little bit.
And it like lights up. So
it does. It's like black and red, I believe. So this is something. Especially if you're going for like your first time, you're just not sure. Maybe this is something you'd want to try. You know, it's if you're like just not sure about the horror thing, you don't like people jumping up like at you, you get startled easily, whatever the reason, like this might be an option for you.
Like if you just want to take in the event and the vibes of it, but not really be too scared too much. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now other events do this. This is, I think, SeaWorld's, they've done this before. So this isn't an uncommon thing. It's the first time they've done it at Halloween Horror Nights. Which, I mean, I know some people have acted like they have a problem with this. I mean, if you want to go and not have people jump out at you, it doesn't hurt you. I guess if you're in a group of people that want to be scared, but then you can just break off from those people. But
right.
I mean, yeah, I personally speaking, I don't see any problem with it. I mean, you got to pay extra for it, so I suppose that is a. I wonder why. I mean, $20 is interesting to charge for it, I suppose, but.
So there, and I won't go too much into this, but there is a specific creator out there, an influencer, if you will.
Yeah, I saw this.
Who is antagonizing these poor scare actors with this necklace and like trying to egg them on to get them to scare her even though she's wearing the necklace,
to like try and get them in trouble or something.
Yeah. And one of the scare actors, bless his heart, he was like trying his hardest to just get away from her, and she kept like chasing him, like kind of just following him around. And she's like, what are you gonna do? Come on, scare me. He's like, I can't. And walked away. He's like literally came out of character to say, I can't scare you. I was like, come on, like let's not do this. Let's not do this, influencers, please.
Yeah,
like that's not necessary. It just ruins that, you know.
The behavior of some of the influencers is very unfortunate. I will put it that way.
We could make a whole episode.
Yeah.
On the behavior of
certain it becomes this whole like
behaviors.
We used to do vlogging, and when we first started doing it, like we had, I mean, early on success with it. It was okay to do, but it's not the type of content I like to create. It's a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for the vloggers and people that have built up channels, because that's a lot of time to dedicate, because you could spend all day in a park doing something. You go to edit the video, you release it, and it gets like 100 views. You know, especially when you're starting out. It's a grind to do it. But then it easily just becomes, you got to go over the top to get, you know, I went here and did some crazy thing to get views. Right. And it kind of feeds itself into just doing these things to get clicks, to get notoriety. And I think for the most people, it's just, I feel like a lot of people really turned away and got really annoyed at a lot of the quote influencers, which I hate that term. And if anybody ever calls me an influencer, I will take it as an insult. Right. Because it's not anything I'm interested in doing. It's just, I wonder at some point when it comes to the theme parks if they do something. I don't think they're going to ban people from vlogging and things, because obviously Universal and Disney use vloggers for free media to promote stuff. But I could see like live streamers that are just constantly streaming in the parks. There's a lot of annoyance that comes around with some of those. Some of them are very respectful, but some of them are very pushy, I guess you could say. And if it starts impacting the guest experience quite a bit, or if you have these situations where especially at Halloween Horror Nights, there's so many incidents with these scare actors where they've been hit before, they're always messing with them. Like I feel for them many times. I do wonder at some point if they do something to try and curb that. I don't really know what they could do, but I think live streamers could be the ones they kind of go after. And I don't think it would have to be something about you can't have a backpack or an external thing. It'd have to be something, because they couldn't tell you couldn't videotape, because I mean everyone has a phone now. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where a lot of people have complained about it a lot more over the years. And there's some of the behaviors. It's just a few people. All it takes is a few people to ruin it for everybody else, as goes life typically. But yeah, that part's not great. Well, and speaking of, again, Halloween Horror Nights, Premium Scream Night, which we talked about during the preview, is basically where you can go. It's you pay a little bit more for this, but it's an early access thing where you can experience the houses, or you're supposed to be able to experience the houses, some of the food items with less crowds. That's kind of the perk of this, kind of like an after hours for Halloween Horror Nights in a way.
But it starts before the official first day.
Yeah. Was not that great this year.
Okay. So last year when they started it, I think tickets for this were maybe $300. I think that's what around there, something like that. And, you know, a lot of like vloggers and influencer type people went, and they talked about how great it was, because it was the first year of the event, and they were talking about like the food was great, the haunted houses, no lines, we got to walk onto everything, it was great. So it was more popular this year. It did sell out this year, did not sell out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they sold more tickets. And what happened is the lines of the haunted houses were creeping up. 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 40 minutes for an event where you pay $400 for. It irked a lot of people.
Right.
You're not supposed to wait 45 minutes for a house when you pay that much money, right?
One would assume. I mean, obviously,
assume.
these things are even sometimes, you get express pass, and sometimes it just depends on the line. But typically speaking, the idea is, you don't want to be waiting an hour or so for these houses.
Premium Scream Night did not have access to the express pass. You couldn't buy one. You couldn't use the express pass lane. It was all standby.
Well, because it's kind of supposed to be sort of like an express pass type of event. Yeah.
Right. But when you sell too many tickets, that doesn't work.
Now, do you think they sold too many tickets, or do you just think that they had the same amount of tickets allotted last year, but they sold out this year?
I think they sold too many tickets.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Because it wasn't near as what it was last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But like last year was the first year.
I understand.
Of it. Yeah.
I understand it didn't sell out last year, but it still sold a lot of tickets.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, even with the amount that he didn't sell last year, with the sellout this year, it's huge gap right there.
Right.
A lot of people were saying, like, let's just next year we're not going to do it. We're just going to go on a regular night and just get express pass because we'll have a better time.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
I mean, the money is about, you're paying a little bit more for premium versus going on a regular night and just getting express pass. So.
Like if you let's say it's $100 for your ticket, you add on express. Express is like, I think when did it start this year? Like $150 or something. So I'm in like $250, $275.
Yeah.
That's $100+ less than the premium Scream Night. So.
Well, and there's long lines for the food trucks and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it definitely seemed like they oversold it, and it rained, so I think it kind of put a damper on a lot of people's experience there.
But
what?
You said damper.
Oh, I didn't mean to do it.
I
made a joke without even knowing it.
You're a poet. You don't know it.
You're on a roll. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's not a great thing. And it's always something you worry about with overselling, especially this has happened with Disney with after hours events of selling a lot more tickets. And it's like, can you hold back on, obviously, there's demand. They want to sell more of these. But hopefully, and typically Universal does, to their credit, adjust things off of feedback. So hopefully next year, I say usually, hopefully next year, maybe they do 2 nights of this and split it up a little bit more or hold back on the tickets sold. But it's not a great look, especially you're spending that money and just dealing with those lines. I would not be happy either.
Yeah.
Because we actually talked about, like, we would like to do this maybe next year. But after this year's event,
I don't know.
I think I would much rather just go on a regular night, pay for Express Pass, and do it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunate there. We'll see how the feedback goes, what Universal does there.
Okay.
But I do wonder if next year sells out after that feedback.
I don't know.
Because a lot of even the influencers were even saying, the people that are media that go a lot were talking about how that just was not a great experience. So,
especially compared to the year before.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yep.
So, well, and especially Halloween Horror Nights keeps getting more popular and more crowds coming. And obviously there's going to be a demand for people that want to experience it with less crowds. So you do have a segment of people that will pay more for it, but they're only going to pay more for it if it makes sense and you're actually getting that type of experience. So it's on them to, provide that experience if that's what it's advertised for. All right, that's going to be it, though, for the news. Before we talk about Epic Universe and what Mark Woodbury had to say here, I just want to remind everybody, if you're looking for some great theme park apparel, some Halloween shirts, you can go check out Capture the Magic Apparel, and that's our apparel company where we print everything ourselves. We don't use third-party printers, so everything is hand-printed to the highest quality, prints that will last you a very long time on very comfortable shirts, the most comfortable shirts you will find, in my opinion, when you're talking about theme park apparel or just pop culture apparel or just shirts in general. They're very comfortable. I wear them all the time, as does Jamie. And then Jamie ships them out by hand herself, so you get good service, high quality stuff here. So if you want to go check those out, you can go to ctmapparelco.com and check all those out there. You can use the promo code September. We're just going to keep it to September. You can get 20% off of your order. Plus, if you order $49 or more, you get free shipping on top of that. So you can get some great shirts at a good price there. And if you're going to Halloween Horror Nights or anywhere else, you can be decked out in some comfortable, nice theme park shirts there. So again, ctmapparelco.com, and the promo code is September to get 20% off of your order. So, all right. So let's talk about some things that Mark Woodbury had to say. So if you don't know who Mark Woodbury is, he is the CEO of Universal Destinations and Experiences. He's been with Universal for like 30 years. I love Mark Woodbury. He has a background in creative. He helped design the Wizarding Worlds. He's been involved with a lot of things Universal has done. So I love the fact that he is the CEO of the parks, but he also has a background in Universal Creative. So his whole goal, there is to provide a good experience. So I do like that as somebody that is running the parks. But he went to the what is it called? Bank of America Securities Inc. analyst event, I believe is what it was called.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, it was Bank of America, some sort of event they do. And it's a bunch of analysts asking questions, and he went up here. I think he went up there for like an hour. Okay. So he had an analyst asking questions about, obviously, a lot about Epic Universe, about some of the international stuff and everything like that. So we're just going to go through some of his interesting responses he had here.
Okay.
So they asked him, and each one here, we'll stop and see what you think about this. So they're asking different questions. So Woodbury's response on Epic Universe's performance so far. And he said, it's doing exactly what we wanted it to do in terms of driving incremental attendance to the resort as a whole, and the performance line for caps. Very strong since we opened the doors, and as you can see in merchandise, you see it in the food offerings. A lot of great creative work went into both of those. Not without challenges when you open an entire theme park at once. It's always a little complicated to get it ramped up to full speed, and we're in the process of doing that right now. Nothing we didn't expect. So that's addressing a bit there, which I guess we could bring that up now about, there has been some people have talked about some of the negative reviews that have been out there on, especially TripAdvisor. Google reviews, it's like 3.9 is what it's rated at. TripAdvisor is like 2.2 out of 5 stars when you talk about Epic Universe.
Gosh.
But if you look at the reviews, I think TravelAdvisor has like 200 something reviews. Google reviews has like 4,500. And if you look at the other parks, like Disney and Universal parks, they all have like, 75,000 reviews or more. And some of them are, you'll see a commonality here of the complaints are downtime, wait time, not enough stuff to do. It's a very common thing you see. And I think a lot of people just don't understand with a new park. If you know theme parks, you know that this is going to be an issue with a brand new park opening. Like rides are just going to take a while to get, especially as high tech as these rides are. So I think that's what he's alluding to a bit there. Talking about they understand those challenges. And they've talked about it too. They've even in the earnings calls, they've openly said like, yeah, we're working through it, getting these rides optimized and things like that. So he did address that there. But I guess the question would be, do you think that Epic Universe is being review bombed, or do you think the reviews out there are legitimate?
I think that, I think the reviews might be legitimate, but I think the people that are leaving them are maybe going in with the wrong expectations of a brand new park.
Completely agree.
I think that's the issue. If you go to a brand new park that anybody opens, even Disney, it's going to be one of those things where you're just like, okay, I may not get to ride everything. It may be busy, like they're still working out the kinks. If you go in with that mindset, I think you'll have a better time. If you're going to a brand new theme park expecting to do literally everything and not having to experience any downtime at all, you're going to be disappointed. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's what it is.
I agree. I do not like the whole like review bombing rhetoric because you'll see this a lot from Hollywood whenever the movie comes out and it gets bad reviews, and then all of a sudden you hear, oh, we're being review bombed. And that insinuates that there is a large group of people all coordinated across the internet that have decided that we're going to purposely drive a whole bunch of negative reviews and try and tank the movie reviews or something like that. Does that happen on some scale? I'm sure people do. I'm sure some of the Epic Universe reviews are not legitimate. I'm sure people just do it for the lulz or trolling, or they don't like Epic Universe, they like Disney, whatever it is. Same thing goes with movies. I'm sure it happens on some scale. I don't think it happens on a large scale. I think Hollywood, especially, Disney, may have kind of started this trend of attacking the fan base when there is a negative reaction to something. And you see this a lot with games too. And it's a way to me of companies not wanting to listen to the negative reviews and just being like, well, those aren't real, so we're not going to listen to them. I think it's foolish to do that. And like I said, sure, on some scale it is there, but there's also positive review bombing too. There are places and people that will leave a positive review off something they haven't seen or experienced because they want it to win. So it goes both ways.
Sure.
So I just don't like the whole idea of always throwing out, is it being review bombed? I think the reviews that I've read through quite a few of them on the review sites, from what I can tell, I think most of them are pretty legitimate. Some of them are very lengthy about their day and what happened and all things like that. But I agree with what you're saying. The expectations and people not understanding of going into a new park like this, these things are going to happen. But with that said, I do think where Universal has priced this, they are creating that expectation because they're pricing this at a premium. They're pricing this along with Magic Kingdom, which is the #1 theme park destination in the entire world. So when you price this at almost $200 per day to go, you're expecting an almost $200 per day experience. It'd be very similar, and I use this analogy in a video. You buy a Ford Focus for $20,000, and you're like, it's fine. It's a Ford Focus. It's got whatever. It's got warming seats. It gets me where I want to go. It's reliable. It's fine. But then if you bought a Ford Focus for $100,000, you're going to sit there and look at a Mercedes that was $100,000 and be like, well, what the heck? This car sucks. Like, I could have got a Mercedes and look at all what that does and what this does. I hate this car. So it's the expectations of, what you're paying going into it. So I do think Universal is at fault for some of this in terms of where they've priced it. Obviously, a lot of hype around this park. In many ways, it was always going to be unrealistic that it was going to live up to those expectations. As some people are out here saying that Epic Universe was going to be a Disney killer and all these things. And it's just, on some level, expectations meet reality. And I even said it before it opened. It may, there's probably no way in some people's eyes it's going to meet those expectations.
Right.
But in response, I even said too, Universal perhaps, I said this during the previews too. They should have had the prices lower for the previews, considering this same issue was going on during previews. So I do think they've priced Epic too high for the quality of the park in its current state, which is an understandable thing to be at. It's a brand new park working through issues, but instead of having it priced there, you could have it lower and then having like, hey, letting people know when they go, whatever it is, first 6 months, hey, this is in beta mode right now. You see this in video games, by the way, all the time. There's video games that have been out for years that technically are still in beta mode. And when you go to buy it, it'll tell you, hey, this game's in beta mode. There may be some bugs. If you come across something, let us know about it so we can know to fix it. You could do the same rhetoric with the park too. Like, here's a discount. Right. Let us know issues you have because we want to alleviate these. And then you would probably prevent a lot of people going online and being upset. And then you would also have the proper expectations going in of like, okay, these things might happen here, but I understand that before I go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and just talking about the issues and stuff that people are bringing up in the reviews, like you said, it's mostly wait times, down times, and not having enough to do. The down times, that will get better. That it is a problem when you first open a ride and first start running the rides. Yeah, you're gonna see some down times as they work out the kinks. Wait times, I don't know. Wait times might stay high, especially once the park gets a lot busier and it gets more popular and more people start coming. Then again, if the rides aren't down as long, then it maybe alleviate those lines too. So it's just like, okay, like one thing begets the other.
Well, that is a question of like, what is the lowest some of these wait times can get? Because some of these rides are just, they don't have high capacity. But if they're operating better, you can get an idea of that. But yeah, that's a good point.
Right. And I'll go back to that in a minute. And also the having not having enough to do. I think personally in the long run, like in the next year, that is their biggest issue.
Yeah.
Because by not having enough to do for the capacity that the park holds, you are basically telling your guests, well, this is what we have. So you might have to wait. You have to wait a long time. You don't want to wait, buy an express pass, but this is what we have. I think that I think we use a couple more rides at least. I think we use some new shows, maybe throw some shows in there.
You definitely need some indoor attractions.
Characters, more characters, especially in Celestial Park. Celestial Park is just like, you have the carousel, you have the fountain over there. You've got Stardust Racers, yes, but there's a lot of space where there's just nothing going on.
Well, there's supposed to be more there's supposed to be storytellers and other things that before the park opened, they just kind of scrapped.
Yeah.
And they haven't reintroduced it. And right. I agree. I think even having some sort of you could do a food and wine type festival, which they may do eventually. I know the park's still new and they're working through things, but more things that other activities than just rides for people to do would help with the wait times.
And going back to capacity for the rides, like, oh, this ride is lower capacity, it doesn't hold as many people, you can't filter through as many people per hour or however they measure that. Well, that is your fault, Disney or Universal. Like you made that ride in this park, like, so you can't, like, using that as a reason that, like, oh, it's just, you can't, the wait times are going to be high because that'd be like, well, that's on you.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not on us as the guest. That's on you. If it doesn't load fast and it doesn't a whole lot of people, like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Well, some of these rides, I mean, Minecart Madness just doesn't run a lot of people through it per hour.
I know.
Monsters Unchained, though, is great in terms of it runs a lot of people through it, and they need more rides like that move a lot of people through it. That's still great. Battle of the Ministry could get there once it's really fully running well. I don't know exactly how many people that holds per hour or moves people through, but yeah, I mean, I think ultimately I completely agree, and I think because of that, you should price this lower. Because again,
I do agree. With
Magic
that too.
Kingdom is a park, and I understand Disney has its issues, and especially a few years with maintenance and things. But for the most part, Magic Kingdom is a pretty oiled machine. It's been running. It's a 50-year-old park, has a lot of different things for you to do. And it's established. It is the number one park in the world. I understand Universal is going for them. They're not making any qualms, and we'll talk about that further. What Mark Woodbury had to say, but I don't think this park's quite there yet to be pricing it at the same level there. And I think it would be better to price it lower, give people proper expectations, and then work on these things, and improve these things, which they will do. It's just where the park is currently. I still contend it's just in beta mode.
Okay.
So if you're going to go, just understand that. And people that listen to shows like ours and others, that they probably understand that going in, but I think it's a lot of these people that aren't watching theme park content. They're just going as they heard about the park and like, hey, this sounds great. I love Nintendo. Let's go. And then, because they even mentioned as well that they believe they're reaching a new demographic and not necessarily they're not necessarily going after or getting people that are like, say, Disney people and getting them to come over to Universal. They're going after like people that are not normally theme park people. So these people are not really aware of a new park and its issues. So I do think that that's on Universal in terms of proper expectation set, like all those things.
It also depends on the person. Like, what are you going to a theme park for?
Right.
Like, is your main thing to ride all the rides and that's it? Cool. Do you want to check out some of the nice dining that they have? Great. Are you a show person? Do you want to get some merchandise? Do you just want to be there in the theming? Like, stuff like that.
Right.
I think there's a lot of people out there, and maybe the ones that were leaving these reviews about the wait times and downtimes and everything are focused on pretty much rides, like 95% of it. Just, I want to do the rides.
Well, that's what probably most people go to theme parks for.
Right. And I know there's not all of them that do that, but that's a real big factor. Like, if you don't have good rides or enough rides, people are going to talk about it.
Right.
So, yeah. I just wanted to add that because
Well, what's crazy is they don't even. I mean, they are limiting the capacity of the park because of these wait times. So I think right now it's currently like 22,000 guests per day is the cap.
Okay.
They, if you look at Hollywood Studios, which I think Epic Universe they want it to be close to that, which is like 40 to 50,000 guests per day.
Okay.
Throw 50,000 people in this park and see what those wait times look like. I mean, you'd be talking 500-minute waits for some stuff. And so if you're talking about annual passes being added here, which something I want to see, I think realistically that is not going to happen this year. It may be well into 2026. Like that's a very interesting thing about when they may add annual passes, because when they do that, there's a whole bunch of other people that are going to come into the park. Mm-hmm. And if you already have these wait time issues, like I'm not going to make any predictions, but I would not be completely shocked if they don't add annual passes until they add some more attractions to the park or other things going on in there. Like I could see that scenario just because I don't know. It really depends on how, once these rides are really running efficiently, like how much of a difference does that make in the wait times? And they may be waiting to find that out. They may not know that yet.
Speaking of adding more rides, should we continue with the next thought here from Mark Woodbury?
Okay. Yeah, so that's actually the next thing he talked about. Someone asked him about Epic Universe expansions, which goes right into our conversation. Mm-hmm. Mark Woodbury said, if you fly over Epic or you look at Google Earth, you'll see how we plan the park, and you'll see greenfield space between the existing worlds. and that is strategically positioned to give us flexibility to expand the world or create a new world. And so that's how we look at it. I don't really have anything to announce specifically as attractions, which that's not surprising, but I can tell you that there are multiple attractions in the works, not just at Epic, but when you have the 3 parks, the cadence of product delivery across the resort to continue to drive the resort is really a key part of our strategy going forward. We have a clear line of sight into how far we can take this. It's considerable, and we have a pretty sophisticated and well thought out, thorough, long-range plan that takes us out another decade in terms of product offerings, not just in Orlando, but around the world.
Okay.
So there's actually quite a bit to kind of take away from that. Obviously, he says here, multiple attractions in the works, not just at Epic, which seems like they have multiple attractions in the works at Epic as well as the other parks. So I don't think he's saying, I think that's kind of what he's alluding to there, which there, I do know Universal has hired a creative firm that specializes in indoor attractions, which is something Epic definitely needs because when it rains, which is another weakness of this park, you only have 4 rides that run. And it's not an if it rains, it's a when it rains in Florida situation.
Right.
So, and then obviously, and then they talk about the cadence of delivery. Do you understand what he's saying there?
Not entirely.
So they've talked about before that they would like to have 1 new attraction open per year because obviously new attractions bring people in. Okay. So the cadence there would be, I'm sure they didn't go into specifics here, but I'm sure if you can deliver a new ride or attraction, at least 1 per year for over a decade, you can do the math on how that may play out.
Yeah.
So I think that's also what he's alluding to is adding a lot more things to the parks and Epic Universe over the next decade.
Okay. I did think it was interesting. He mentioned the 3 parks. I'm like, oh, Volcano Bay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Every time I mention this, I get flack. Mark Woodbury agrees with us. Take your beefs to Mark Woodbury.
He's like, I'm not all about that marketing. I'll say what I said.
I get it from a marketing standpoint, but when your CEO says 3 parks, you got 3 theme parks. Now, Volcano Bay is a fantastic water park. It is an amazingly themed water park.
But it's a water park.
It's a water park. So Mark Woodbury agrees. We agree. So if you disagree, I don't know what to tell you.
Talk to the CEO.
Go write him your letters. Don't write to me because, hey, you're not going to change my mind. So just saying. That was another thing I remember taking away. Be like, oh, okay. And he said that like a couple of times now and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Also, too, he said around the world.
Yes.
Other than Orlando. Is he also talking about like the UK?
Well, I think UK, and you mentioned before, I think Japan, you got Singapore, but the UK park is one that they're going to focus on because they're going to build that park. But so you got stuff around the world that they're going to focus on. But I mean, I thought that was very interesting because they haven't really been coy about this. They even said this in some of the Epic marketing is like there are things actively in the work already for Epic before it even opened. So he's here at an investor conference saying as much. So I think really when you're looking at the timeline of this stuff, I think you will see at least 1 new attraction at Epic Universe easily within 5 years. I actually think within 2 or 3 years you see it.
I want to point this out, and I don't think people remember this or realize this, but every time Disney has opened a new park in Orlando, the amount of attractions available is very low. Case in point, Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
The only attraction that was open was Great Movie Ride.
Absolutely.
Then there was Backlot Tour, and there were some shows, and that was all.
Yeah, and like I think a new park opening, I mean, I don't know of any other theme park that has opened with the amount of attractions that Epic Universe has. And you got to think, too, going to the negative reviews, this is the first theme park that has opened in the social media age.
Yeah.
Where you've got instantaneous feedback, and if you go on Twitter X, all you're going to see is a bunch of people complaining for the most part. So negativity feeds into social media many times.
Right.
You have YouTube channels and podcasts that talk about this stuff. You didn't have this when Islands of Adventure opened or Animal Kingdom opened. And there's just a lot more focus on this. So this is the first park we've really seen with this much of just looking at everything that goes on with this park. And so I think if you would have had social media around when, say, Hollywood Studios opened or Islands of Adventure, you would have seen a lot of the same stuff being said here. Rides go down, not enough stuff to do here. And then you look at the time span of 10, 20 years goes by and there's more things to do. And I would say Hollywood Studios still has a wait time issue, but there's still more things to do in that park. It's going to be the same thing with Epic. Like, they're going to figure this stuff out. They're going to get more stuff in here. And then it's going to be, I still contend it's one of the best theme parks ever. I love that park. It has its issues, but I think it's going to be one of undoubtedly the best theme parks in the world in the coming decades.
Yeah.
But that's the other part of that as well. It's just I guess you could say the intense magnifying glass of social media.
Right. And that's why I wanted to point out, like, other companies do the same thing. They're not perfect.
Absolutely. Well, and it's not like Universal doesn't know how to run theme parks.
Right.
Yeah, no,
I know.
It's not like they all of a sudden forgot and they're like, oh no, what do we do? It's just these are some things that are going to go along with a new park.
Remember when we were talking about this maybe like a year ago, thinking that they might open portals like one at a time?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, that didn't happen, but they definitely could have done that.
I think they toyed with it, and I think they realized it was going to get a lot of backlash if they did that.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the opening weekend, they had it so low on the amount of people that were there. Because I think that was a big worry people had.
Yeah.
If I were to guess. But you did have some interesting things to say already about the market share in Orlando. So they asked him a question about competing with Disney, essentially. And he actually mentions Disney. Many times Disney does not like to mention Universal or Epic Universe. Like, they're obviously a major competitor, but Disney doesn't feel like that if they mention their name, all of a sudden they're going to drive a bunch of traffic to them, which I always thought was silly. But he said, I think we're in a really strong position to continue to drive incremental growth to the overall marketplace to take share in the process of that. Our chief competitor, Disney, is a strong competitor. They're going to be investing pretty heavily in the market too. I think it's a case of, all ships rise with the tide. We'll both drive audience to the marketplace and we'll be able to take our share. And he also said within the first 3 months of Epic being open, they've already seen a shift in market share, which I find very interesting because I think that's alluding to the fact as well that obviously Mark Woodbury is going to know Universal's numbers in terms of attendance. Mm-hmm. I have a strong possibility he also knows Disney's.
He probably does.
I would assume the CEO of Universal probably either knows that by asking or knows people that will tell him. Mm-hmm. Because he's also not going to come here to this conference and lie. So if they know those numbers, they're already seeing a shift. I think that's obviously pretty impressive for a brand new park. And also you look at Disney this summer, many reports talking about the attendance this summer was pretty low at Disney. I'm not going to be shocked by that if that's the case.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think you would just make it up and lie about this.
I mean, like, you can check it. Like, why would you lie? You know what I mean?
Right. There's no reason for him to do that.
Right.
And I also find it interesting if they're already taking away market share, which has been projected that they would. Epic Universe, like we've just been talking about, is the weakest it's ever going to be right now. Mm-hmm. They don't have the park capacity yet. These rides, they're running through all these things. So Epic's only going to get stronger into the future. So if they are already eating into market share, it's very likely they're going to continue to do that, at least until we'll see what happens when Disney opens their stuff that they're building. But until those things are done, which I think is going to be much longer than people think, I think they're going to probably continue to just sort of chip away at market share.
Yeah.
Well, and to go along with, I suppose you could say, the potential market share shift here, one thing you can look at, especially when it comes to Epic, is the Orange County tourist tax, basically. So this is a tax on the hotels in the area. Mm-hmm. So since Epic has opened, they've had record-breaking months, and each time it's happened, the Orange County comptroller and all the government basically says they're crediting this to Epic Universe. Mm-hmm. So it's a way to kind of see like potential, like what are they going to show in the revenue. So the July numbers just came in as well, and basically here it breaks another record. So tourist tax collections in Orange County soared like the temperature in July, hitting the highest total ever on record for the month. Receipts hit $29.5 million, an increase of 11.1%, or nearly $3 million better than July of 2024, said Comptroller Phil Diamond, whose office tracks collections and spending of revenues raised by the 6% levy on hotel rooms and other short-term lodging in the county. Diamond said collections continue to be, quote, epic, a tongue-in-cheek nod to Epic Universe, the region's newest theme park. So basically, you've had 3 straight months since Epic has opened of record-breaking tax income. And I don't know if that's going to slow down anytime soon. So even the government, though, is saying this is due to Epic Universe. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a pretty good indication. Universal and Comcast are going to show on the quarterly earnings that it's going to be in October that they're going to see quite the increase. Because we saw for the last earnings report, where you basically had just a week and a half of Epic officially open, they had a 20% increase in revenue.
Okay.
So they're very likely to show quite an increase in revenue, considering as well they probably had a drop off in attendance last year, considering Epic was almost open. So a lot of people probably put trips off. And Orlando tourism has been up the past 2 years in general.
Yeah.
So that's another indication there that Epic is making an impact. So I know there were some people that thought Epic wasn't going to make any impact at all, or all these things. Obviously, it is.
It is.
And we'll see what happens. I think August will be high. It'll be interesting about September, considering September is kind of a slow season anymore, at least the first part of September. But I think going into the end of the year, you could just see a bunch of records being broken on this going until the end of the year.
Nice.
And like I said, Epic is only going to get stronger, so you're likely to see next summer these records get broken again.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. So, but yeah, so that's a pretty good indication there, kind of what's going on with Epic. Mark Woodbury has some interesting things to say there. And obviously, I think things are coming fairly quickly. Obviously, Rip Ride Rocket's being replaced. And I don't think they're going to be waiting. If you have these wait time issues at Epic, and let's say you get these rides ironed out and you still have pretty high wait times, I just do not see them waiting 3 years before they start adding to this park, because they want this park to be their flagship park. They want 50,000 people in this park. They spent $6 to $8 billion building this park. They're going to want to make their money back off of this. And so if they see that as an issue they need to do, I think they will fast track this stuff. And I think this next decade will be interesting too, because Universal's one of their main advantages is they build quickly. And I think that could really come into play in the next decade with adding things here, adding things to the existing parks. And you could see very quickly some of these issues with Epic be relieved, within a couple of years.
Maybe.
So that's kind of what I think you may end up seeing there. But some interesting things that are going on with Epic that were said by Mark Woodbury. And I always like hearing him talk. I think he just seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
He just seems very down to earth, doesn't seem to take himself too seriously. Just kind of seems nice. I've talked to a couple people that have met him, and they said he's a super nice guy. Of course, people to me, Josh Seymour say the same thing. So these guys could all be monsters. Who knows? When it comes to celebrities and business people, we don't know them for real. But everything I've ever heard about him, I've never heard anybody say he's a terrible person and a backstabber or anything like that. So
backstabber.
I'm just saying it's a business world. Who knows?
No,
but I've always heard that at least. But but either way, I mean, I think that's going to be the show there. But some good information there if you're curious about Epic and what's going on there and everything like that. So personally speaking, I can't wait until the wait times go down and they have annual passes. So that'll be nice whenever that happens, and then I will go to that park much more often because,
yes,
like I said, I love the park. I'm not looking to wait 150 minutes to wait on Mario Kart,
right,
or other attractions. If I don't want to pay $300 for Express Pass either,
right.
So
I mean, we're local-ish, so it feels weird to do that,
Yeah, especially there's no annual pass options. So if you're going to go, even one person, it's going to be at least $100 and some odd. If you get Express Pass, you're looking at $300 something bucks, if not more, just to go. And it's that gets pretty pricey pretty quickly there. But
yes.
But yeah, so that's going to do it for the show. So be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Cap the Magic everywhere, including YouTube, where you can find daily videos by me, where I talk about
by me.
I didn't mean it that way, but you can find videos by me. If you like hearing me, if you don't, then don't go. But yeah, daily videos on theme parks, pop culture, entertainment, things like that. And then of course we have video versions of this show at CTM Podcast, and we have some other shows on the network. We have the Disney Show, which is every Thursday. You can find, and then Jamie has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show, and you have the next one there coming out next week.
Yes, I do. CTMTripTales.com if you want to submit your trip to be on the show. So I have a couple of slots left toward the end of the year. So if you got a trip coming up, go to the website, CTMTripTales.com, and let me know about your trip.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And if you like what we do around here, you're like, I would like to be involved more. I'd like to hang out more, chat with us a bit, get some discounts. You could look at joining Club 32. And that's our private group where we have some additional content in there. We have a weekly live stream we do with all the members. We have the clubhouse. We have a private Facebook group, which you've got questions about. You can go ask, other people that go to the parks a lot. So it's a good resource there. And we have music loops from the parks on there and a private podcast feed along with the content on there. Plus you get 25% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products year round. We have meetups. We got one coming up in September. We do 2 meetups a year. And it's just a good group. So if you want to, contribute, hang out a bit more, get to know us a bit, chat a bit more. If you got questions about trips, we always answer those in the live streams as well. You can do that there. So if you want to go join, you go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options. And if you do the yearly, you get a free t-shirt, and it's a little bit cheaper. So you save a little bit of money there. But if you want to contribute, that is the best way to do that. And it helps us keep the lights on and internet bill and all those things that, to keep the show going here. So again, ctmvip.com. And if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. So, well, that's going to do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.
bye.